We told you recently here on the show just exactly how much it costs to support our British monarchy if you live here in the United Kingdom. £1.29. That's all for the entire year. Not bad really, is it, when you think? Great value. Of course, the negative people will say, well, we don't need them, we could just have a president, we don't need to pay as much. But as I often point out, and for those that don't understand it, the money that they truly bring into businesses, when you think about hotels, coffee shops, stayovers, tourism, everything, it really does amount to billions of pounds. But of course, that doesn't necessarily stop people attacking the British monarchy. And here, as ever, is where it gets really interesting because, as we now know, around the world, we all have major migrant crises. These are people alleged fleeing from other countries that are unsafe, but more importantly, want to settle in, shall we say, a better area. Nothing wrong with that. Of course, someone has to pay for that, normally the taxpayer in whichever country you're in. Someone has to house them, school them, clothe them, all of that sort of stuff. Many people say they bring their own individual skills to that particular country. Not always, as we found out here in the United Kingdom and across the Commonwealth, no doubt. But what's interesting now is that His Majesty the King is being forced to address this very thorny issue about why, when you consider this, Buckingham Palace with 775 bedrooms alone, or rooms alone, should I say, why can't they house homeless people in Buckingham Palace? Daft, I know. Now, what's interesting also, I've recently been working with a company that are in charge of all the huge renovations, which are set to take around about 10 years. People say, well, why does it take so long? Trust me, when you go in Buckingham Palace and you see, the sort of areas that you don't see necessarily on TV, you can see exactly how run down it is. I mean, truly it hasn't been touched since the Second World War. The electrics look like a death trap. Everywhere is in need of some kind of TLC, attention. Yes, the staterooms are magnificent. Those are the ones where you see Catherine, King Charles, Camilla, all hosting those famous dignitaries and welcoming certain people from around the world, which is what it is. Show. Absolutely. Now, the real reason why, for those people that won't let it go, that you simply could not put migrants within Buckingham Palace are the obvious security reasons, number one. And number two, it's really unfit for purpose, hence the reason nobody can truly live there at the moment. Now, some might say, well, what about when it's then concluded in 10 years' time? As we've often pointed out here on the show, that may or may not be something of a 90% open museum to fund itself. That's something that both the King and Prince William are looking towards. Who knows? Different times, etc. But for all of those that are suggesting, well, His Majesty the King, even of course Prince William has vowed to end homelessness in 5 years' time with his incentives. A big thing to do. But Buckingham Palace, trust me, for all of those that have been lucky enough to attend or indeed walk round this particular historical palace, is simply no place. And that's truly the reason why it really is unfit for migrants. Whichever way you look at it, I'd love to know what you think to this particular story in the comments below. Neil Shaw, Kensington, London.